So we're currently in object mode, and I can scale this object here. And you notice I'm hitting S for scale. Now, let me get back to this because this is scaling in object mode has an interesting effect on your actual mesh. So remember, object mode, we're not really directly editing the mesh. When we go into edit mode up here, now we're working with the points, lines, and faces. And I can do the same thing. I can scale from here. Now, I can't just pick this thing because I'm going to pick my faces or my lines, because we got our selection tools, right? So if I want to get everything, I'm going to hit the A key. So I hit A, that gets all, right? I hit S on the keyboard, and watch your mouse placement. It's similar to the inset tool. I mean, it'll still work if you're close, but it's kind of nicer if it's out here on the side a little bit. And now I can bring it in and out. So that's how you scale something up and down, but that's not exactly probably the main way we go about doing this, or the main reason we're using the scale tool. What I'm probably going to do is something a little bit more like this. I'll probably hit 3 to get the faces, face selection, and then I'll grab this and I'll scale this face. And now I can just pull the whole thing out, and this is how I could get, some kind of, trapezoidal piece like so. So then from here, I could continue to build on this part, like I could do what we did before, an inset, and then I could extrude this down. But then as you see, as I extrude this down, it starts to cut through the part at the bottom. And so you can kind of get then that the wall thickness where I stop, the inside to the outside, is not going to be the same. And that might be pretty bad. So I can go ahead and get it where I want it. I got to click first, and then I could scale this in, you see? Now, let me back up and I'll show you some more things with this. So I can go back here and I can select all, and then I can hit scale, except now realize again, it's scaling the entire cube, but also it's scaling it from the center out on all axes. So if I want to, I can hit the X key, right, the red line there, and now I'm only scaling on the X. I can hit the Z key, like I don't have to stop. I can, if you make a mistake, you're like, oh, I didn't mean that when I meant the Z. You just hit Z, and now I'm scaling on the Z axis. Or I could hit the Y, and now I'm scaling on the Y. I'm gonna make a bevel here. We haven't talked about this yet. I'll make a video on this separate later. But I wanna make this bevel, and as you notice, as I bring it in like so, it's nice and uniform or evenly distributed across the corner that was there, if that's making some sense. If I go ahead and I round this out, I'll round it a fair amount here. If I were to look at this from the side, it's nice and rounded, and if you were to draw a line from the center out here, everything is even, okay? And it probably is a little bit like, of course it is, what the hell are you talking about? So let's go back over here into the cube, get back into object mode, and now I want to scale it again. Except so now I'm gonna click the cube, I'm gonna hit scale, and I'm going to intentionally scale it on the x-axis here like this. You see, so I stretch this thing way out, and I go, okay, that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and tab into edit mode. So we're in edit mode. We'll go to line select, and we'll pick this edge again, and now I'm going to bevel it. And as I bring this out, look what's happening there. Here, let me scroll up or down so I only get the one thing. Do you see how I've got this slope being created right there? Here, let me get this at a little bit better angle here for you. So we're looking at it right here. I hit the bevel key and I pull the thing out, and it's completely distorted. And if I go ahead and, like I said, and try to round this and look at that, it's definitely not the normal one. If you wanted this, if you could want to plan for this, you could totally do this. But here is the problem. We'll go back into object mode. Remember the little button over here. You see me doing this all the time when I need to turn on my screencast keys, but this is the menu key along the side. I go up here to the item tab, and here I'm going to see a bit of information about what they call the transformation of this object. So has it been moved around in space? Have I rotated it? Have I scaled it and such? So right here on the x-axis, I can see that I have a scale of 7.217. Now, if I wanted to, I could click here and I could hit 1 and I could set it back to the original cube. I don't want to do that, but I could do this and then the bevel would actually look right. But again, that's not what I want to do. So I'll go ahead and set this back. So what I need to do first is I need to apply this scale, meaning this is 7, ish times bigger than whatever it was. I need to tell Blender that this is actually the original size. So what I can do is I can hit Control, so think apply. I can hit Control, apply, and then I see that I have an apply for location, rotation, scale, all rotations, and scale. I could hit this one. I could hit all transforms, but I don't really need to because there's only been one thing that changed. So if I apply the scale, then that number, look at the number over here on the right-hand side, right? That's 7.217. When I apply the scale, that now goes to 1. Now if I go back into edit mode and I choose that line and I go to bevel it, now it's going to be correct. So if you ever see that type of distortion, if you're used to seeing something that's fairly, I'm going to call it uniform along an edge or whatever the case may be, and it's not that, consider that what you did is you scaled the object in object mode rather than in edit mode.